Well, good afternoon, folks. We got Dave. Now, I don't know if I would categorize Dave from the Digital Outlook channel as XRP Original Army, but he's a latecomer and he's talking some good stuff. I've been following him along, and definitely could always learn from somebody something. You know what I mean? There's always something to learn, and I'm sure he learns from me and I learn from him. Dave, welcome to the show. But before we get started, folks, do me a favor and hit the record button. Go over to Rumble as quickly as you can and subscribe, because we're having issues here, if you understand what I'm talking about, okay? QFS 1776 is 100,000% the holy grail of what's to come. Not maybe, 100,000%. T-shirts, you got to get yourself decorated. You got to get yourself a T-shirt that says Jasara Nasara, QFS, XRP. People are going to ask you, what is that? You're going to send them where? To QFS1776.com. Also, don't forget Unified TV down below. Unified TV is what I believe will take over the platform called Netflix. And we're bringing in a whole new genre of movie producers and storytellers and docudrama people, etc. And we're going to tell you the story on how the world is going to be on earth as it is in heaven. We're going to give you Jasara Nasara. We're going to paint that picture for you very vividly clear. Also, down below, Telegram. We got 30,000 patriots in 2 rooms waiting for you, and they'll take you by the hand and teach you exactly how to buy these assets, how to store them on your cold storage, on your wallets, which the link for the wallets are down below. Do not leave your money on the exchange, please. And if you want to buy $10,000 worth of XRP or $100 million worth of XRP, yeah, I'm the guy that you come and see, and I will show you how to do that. We got brokers all over the world, over 300 of them. Okay, huge company. All right, when you hear somebody purchase $500 million worth of XRP, I can absolutely assure you they went through my guy. Okay, because if there was another guy out there, I would know about it. You know why? Because I'm out there. People know I exist. They would say, hey, listen, there's somebody else. I do the same thing your company does. Really? That hasn't happened. So I take it as, you know what? It doesn't exist. Brother, how the hell did you get introduced to cryptocurrency? I like to call them digital assets, because cryptocurrency is what the cabal wants. They want us in the crypt. They want us 6 feet under.
Right. I love the term digital assets as well, because number one, not all of these are currencies. In fact, some of them, majority of them are absolutely literally transformative utilities that are going to take us from where we have been in this slave system for the last 100+ years into this new digital economy that is going to liberate so many people. So interestingly enough, my background is quite varied, but I spent 25 years working for the tax department in Canada. And in fact, I was working in the underground economy section of that, investigating underground economy, when I was first introduced to blockchain. And of course, it was Bitcoin. Now, back in those days, they basically were telling us that Bitcoin was good for 3 things: good for tax cheats, good for drug dealers, and good for pedophiles. And you just stayed clear of it. And in fact, I just kicked myself every living day, because look, I could have been one of those guys that spent $5 on Bitcoin and bought 5,000 Bitcoin. And then, the story that was out there 13 years later, that 5,000 Bitcoins worth $360 million were the best $5 you could have ever spent. Well,
absolutely.
Fast forward into when the C dump happened. So the position that I held was a senior level position with CRA at that time, Canada Revenue Agency. And I knew that they were coming out with an emergency relief benefit for the whole C dump thing. Now, Canada has a population of 36 million, and 12 million people were going to avail themselves of this benefit. And anyone 15 years or older that held a job for only maybe 6 months was going to get $2,000 a month for a period of about 5 or 6 months. So quite a significant amount of money. Well, I was looking at my savings at that time, my wife and I, my wife Judy, and we realized, hey, look, we're going to lose. The purchasing power is going to be absolutely decimated. Now, I was living in Vancouver, British Columbia, which is a major bullion capital in the world. And so I thought, okay, fine. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to buy some gold and silver, physical, none of this ETF baloney, right?
Right.
And in Canada, the Canadian maples are literally 99.999, like really, really pure. And so I went around. I found one dealer, and the one dealer only had 17 ounces. Now, a tube of silver, as you know, is like holds, I think in Canada, 25 ounces to a tube in Canada. Well, I didn't even bother with that. I came home and my wife was on YouTube, and she found this guy selling a blockchain course, and we paid $250 to take this course. Now, of course, like I said, I knew about Bitcoin, but I did not know about the broader, space. And what ended up happening is initially I did get into it, buying Bitcoin and Ethereum or whatever, but then I found out about XRP. And the more and more I started to do my research and find out about XRP, I'm telling you, and not only that, I had the confirmation of what I knew was going on inside the government and what I know that was happening in the banking system, that just kind of put those two and two together. And that was it, man. I started my crypto journey, or my digital asset journey, down the road. And around that time, my wife and I only had, like maybe mid 5 figures to totally invest. And we did it over a period of time. And within 1 year, I kid you not, that amount that we had invested literally went into the multiple 7 figures.
Stratosphere.
It was just mind-boggling, truly.
Yes.
And it changed our lives. And so I ended up retiring. And by the way, my wife is an American citizen and our children are dual. So I ended up applying in 2019 to move down here to the United States. But because of the whole sea dump thing, it was delayed. Well, that gave me the opportunity to learn about this space. And so by the time my process went through, and I want to share a little thing about that if I can, Mel.
Sure.
So my wife and I are very strong believers in Jesus Christ, and we felt a deep conviction in our spirit not to get vaccinated. Now, having said that, our house was bought down here, our furniture was down here, all our kids and grandkids were down here, and literally it was coming up where I had not had an invitation to go and do my immigration exam in Montreal. And the Biden government came out and they basically said, hey, look, unless you're invited to do this by October 1st of 2021, you're going to have to get vaccinated. And also Canada was saying, hey, look, unless you're vaccinated, you're not going to fly. And people were saying, okay, well, I'll take the train. Nope, you're not going to take the train. Well, then I'll take the bus. Nope, you're not going to. It became the most repressive regime that you can even fathom to live under. It was terrifying. Needless to say, we were living in our house. It was completely empty. And one night I heard my wife downstairs and she was weeping and she was like, why isn't this happening? And all I could do is I was upstairs, and in that room, we were living like college kids. We had this mattress on the floor and a little TV, and I held my head in my hands and I just literally was saying, I know you love me. I know you love me. That's all I could say. The very next morning, she woke me up and said, David, your invitation has come. So I got up that day and I went to the approved doctor to get tested. I did not have to be vaccinated. So I go to my interview, I get processed, and then I find out that the only doctor in the entire Western Canada that was approved to do these examinations was a guy that lived in my city. I'm telling you, there's a proverb I love. And it goes, many are the plans of a man's heart, but it's the Lord's purpose that prevailed. And I genuinely believe God delivered me from that, because I was literally, we were prepared to lose everything and have our convictions tested to that level because we believe so strongly and we're not vaccinated even to this day.
Well, good for you.
So that was my journey into crypto.
Yeah, we got to give some. Yeah, we got to give some credit to BondCrypt for putting us together. BondCrypt, thank you, brother.
Yes,
we love you.
Yeah.
He lives over there by Gibraltar. He hangs out in our room all the time. Awesome gold guy. And silver. You mentioned gold and silver.
Yes, sir.
Not to buy the ETFs, the piece of paper that says you got this much gold and silver. But yeah, also guys, by the way, gold and silver right down below. We can get you as much as you want. We're direct to the mint. And almost $8 billion in sales in 33 years, and anywhere in the world, delivered to your doorstep, the physical asset at the cheapest prices. Don't even waste your time looking for cheaper prices. They just simply don't exist. Okay. So anyway, what is your investment strategy? When you saw this, said, okay, aha, I get the aha moment. What was did you have an exit strategy? Were you trading? What were you doing?
Yep. So I was not day trading. I just spent literally, because of the whole CDUM thing, we were just locked in our place in Canada. By the way, you could barely even go outside. It was something else. Well, needless to say, I took that opportunity to just educate myself extremely as much as I possibly could. And what I discovered is I set up a 4-pronged thing that I was going to filter every kind of possible investment. So number one, it had to have a real world utility. And that meant that it was really happening. Number two, it had to have a fantastic or a major management team. Number three, it had to have some strategic global partnerships that were big. And then I looked at the price action. So let me give you the example with XRP. Well, XRP's real world utility is absolutely second to none. This is a generational wealth creator. Absolutely zero doubt. I mean, when you consider how interconnected Ripple and the utilization of XRP and the XRP ledger is in this new global financial system, it is truly mind-boggling. So I took a look at that and I thought not just the on-demand liquidity, but just how in which XRP as a medium of exchange, it truly is amazing. And so that nailed it for me. Then I'm taking a look at all of these high-level individuals that are coming from some very senior positions, literally from high government offices. Look at Rosie Rios. Just pull $100, a $50 or $20 bill out of your pocket. Well, Rosie Rios signed that on behalf of the Treasury. And when you look at their board of directors, it was truly something mesmerizing, actually, because I've been in traditional space and you don't see a board of directors that is that connected. Rare do you see that. Well, then I look at these strategic partnerships. Well, you're talking about the IMF and you're talking of the Bank of International Settlements, central bank. Look, Ripple is right now, not only are they going to be used in this new financial system, but they are right now the ones building the infrastructure for this new financial system. I mean, you've got the Digital Pound Foundation that's partnered with Ripple. You got the US dollar, project partnered with Ripple. You got Ripple involved with so many other nations around the world, helping them to craft their own individual central bank digital currencies. And beyond that, look at the relationships with the International Monetary Fund. There is something very unique about Ripple and XRP specifically as an asset. Ripple could go away. XRP is going to continue to exist. Then I started looking at price action and unbelievable, Mel, as you know, January 4th of 2017, XRP was selling for 0.006. So just that little over a half a cent, literally to the day. 1 year later, XRP was selling for $3.84. So a $6,000 investment just 1 year later netted you $3.84 million. Now, I don't know how many I don't know any, to be completely honest, in the past that would show such growth. So for me, when I looked at that, that is the strategy that I started to develop. Now, I started getting into XRP, XLM, Hedera Hashgraph, Quant, and then I learned much more about the ISO 222 messaging standards, finding out XRP is on the governance council. I mean, it gives me goosebumps just talking about it. It's really amazing.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're super heavy on XRP, XLM, XDC. And we
XDC
got,
for sure.
We got about 79 other coins. I know my wife's probably got 79 that I know of. If you hear the lawnmower, I'm not trying to imitate your digital asset investor. We got landscapers here too in Costa Rica. Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
So, but in any
no
event,
matter what side of the fence you live on, the grass still needs to be cut.
It needs to get cut. So yeah, if those three are the only three that survive, for argument's sake, and nothing else survives, I'm okay with that, because we're going to be gazillionaires. See, I always
absolutely.
I always say, Dave, and I think you'll agree, going into this new world of Jasara, and I've already, by the way, interviewed a handful of people with mortgage forgiveness. I'm about to do another one maybe tonight. The guy went through my broker. He went heavy. I'm not going to tell you exactly how much he bought, but if he wants to say how much he bought tonight, he can. It's up to him. But he went heavy on XRP through my broker. And he called me yesterday. He said, man, he goes, I would love to come on, but I had a couple of drinks. I don't think I want to come on tonight. So anyway, long story short, he says, I got a $27,000 debt forgiveness. I said, bro, beautiful. Wow, come on, let's talk about your experience with my brokers. Let's talk about your debt forgiveness, right? So it's happening. I have people in my room, literally dozens and dozens. one gentleman is actually an administrator. He says, Mel, you're not going to believe this. I just got an email from my mortgage company, which happens to be Chase. And they said, for every dollar you paid us into interest, we're going to give you back $8.91. He's coming on the show, and there's no more mortgage.
Absolutely fantastic. You know, it's a completely biblical concept. The whole idea of a Jubilee year where, look, under that Old Testament, you know, type of system that God put in place, he literally had it where there was a time when all debts would be forgiven no matter what. And even when that was coming up, he had it structured in there that, hey, don't say, oh, I'm not going to lend you money because, you know, this big debt forgiveness that everybody knows is going to happen is coming. He said, hey, don't be like that. Just follow this plan and your lives are going to be blessed. I mean, it is truly something that I believe divinely inspired the whole idea of Jasara, Nasara, Jasara.
Yeah, and it's coming. It's absolutely coming. I mean, I don't know, maybe the announcement today at Mar-a-Lago, I hope that would be nice. You know, who the hell knows? But I know that Trump cannot go to 2024. The United States or the world is not sustainable to go to 2024. It will collapse. You know, yesterday I went shopping, for crying out loud. I mean, look, we grow oranges here in Costa Rica. You know, $12 for a gallon of orange juice. Are you kidding me? Insane. You know, me personally, I'm gonna let that orange juice rot on the shelf. I will go to my next door neighbor and climb the tree and pick up some oranges and squeeze them myself. Bingo. I ain't paying $12. You know?
No
That's
kidding,
crazy.
No kidding.
So
you know, the beating heart of this economy is the debt market. And a lot of folks will look at the stock market and say, oh, no, it's not. We are a debt-driven economy, a slave-driven economy. You know, we have been encouraged scripturally to not be in debt to any man. And the reason for that is the borrower is servant to the lender. We know that. And Absolutely. Yet this is the system that these central banks around the world had created to literally enslave people. I genuinely believe that. Now, how they do that is this: when you see that debt market, you know, and you watch that yield climb, and that basically is saying money is moving. Money is always going to be employed. Now it's moving from risk on assets into, you know, these bond markets where they feel they have a lot more safety and security. Well, what's happening is you literally have these central banks. A Bank of England came in there in their gilt market and they bought it up like crazy. Why? Because the stock market was about ready to absolutely crash and collapse because of all the money that was vacating it so fast. So they come in and they buy it down only, right, to cause inflation to go nuts, which is what you're talking about. And inflation, let's be honest, is just a way for the government to rob you and I blind and to destroy the purchasing power of our dollars, so that when we go to the store, not only have they got us paying our taxes, but they're literally taking it right out of our jeans when we have to pay like $5 for a can of Campbell's soup. It's just insane.
Yeah. Well, the party's coming to an abrupt end. That much I can absolutely assure you. What were your biggest gains and what were your biggest mistake going into this?
So I had some amazing gains. I had bought a couple of, so I had bought VeChain under half a cent. And look, I put in like $4,000 into VeChain. VeChain goes to 27 cents, $4,000 to 270,000 bucks. Not only that, I bought Cardano at 4 cents, and Cardano goes from 4 cents to $3.10. So for $8,000, just on those two alone, $570,000 is what it netted out to. Now, look, I did not sell it all at the top. I only sold half, but even the half that I sold, you know, because, hey, at that time, I was really, really kind of just learning more and more about this space as I could. But I realized, like, who ever sees gains like that? But with XRP, and I hold a significant position of XRP, I did not sell one. And look, I was buying it pre-SEC lawsuit, and I watched it drop to 17 cents. And I'll kid you not, I put in 5 figures the day before the lawsuit dropped. And so I got it, you know, I had put in a bunch at that time and watched it drop. Well, I just bought more and more and accumulate because I know what XRP is. Did not sell one on the way when it went from 17 cents to almost $2, didn't sell any. Those were some amazing life-changing gains. And that's really what's motivated me to share it's because folks don't even know. They're almost, you know, they're oblivious to truly what's going on and how this nascent assets, these digital assets, and most of them, Algorand, you've got Algorand, you got Hedera Hashgraph, Quant, XLM. Quant has the potential to be something absolutely astronomical in my view. But needless to say, it was truly life-changing, and it motivated me eventually down the road to, get out there and do this channel. And look, I've only been doing it for about 4 months. And I don't know about you, Mel, but I've had folks come at me and say, I had gotten a few emails and they're literally saying, oh, we're ready to bury you with money if you'll just shill this project or whatever. And I've gotten those emails. I literally responded back, said, I have no interest in token promotion. Hope you have a great day. Thank you very much. Off it went. Why? Because I want to have authenticity to speak into this space and to be able to tell people, face to face, eye to eye, hey, look, this is what I experienced. This is what I believe. This is what I see coming. Now you make up your own mind. So, yeah.
Yeah. Now, obviously at some point you're investing, etc. You're probably having very intelligent conversations with your wife about the digital assets you guys are invested in, etc. And she probably said, Dave, why don't you start a YouTube channel? Is that how it went?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Judy, in fact, Judy started that about a year ago, and she is an amazing support. I'm sure like Amber is for you.
Yes.
I'm just so blessed to have this great woman in my life. And, she was encouraging me to do it. And I'm like, yeah, but, who's going to really want to listen to me? And on top of that, I don't want to, I'm just not sure. And, when I started the channel, when I finally did start it, it was probably about 8 months after her kind of getting on me to do it. I didn't even want my face out there at all. In fact, I did it kind of like, Brad Kimes does, behind the camera kind of deal. And so, I just thought, and it took me a process or whatever. But then I thought that it didn't come off as authentic as I wanted to, even though I was as sincere as can be. Sitting behind the camera just wasn't working for me. So,
Right.
I started going out there, and I love nature. Part of that,
Right.
I guess that's the Canadian me. I
see
love
that.
the outdoors. And so what I started doing is I just thought, what I'm going to do? I'm just going to walk and talk and bring people with me as I go and do these, and just be able to talk right from the heart. And I guess that resonated with folks. And in the last 4 months, we're celebrating now. We're just moving over that threshold of 10,000 subscribers. And, I have an amazing community. I've watched these people literally calling one another family and encouraging one another in the comments and stuff. And so I am having a live stream. Is it okay if I throw that out there?
Oh, absolutely. And by the way, guys, go out there and subscribe to this guy. Let's get him over 10,000. Let's do it today. Digital Outlook. Let's do it.
Yes, sir. So on Saturday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, Texas, I'm doing a live stream to celebrate that 10,000 subscriber count. And I've got some really great stuff that is going to benefit the whole community that I'm launching on that day. And that it's absolutely free, and something that I really hope is going to be a blessing to everybody. But I've got that coming out on Saturday. And I've just had such great vibes back from this community. I mean, I'm telling you what, this XRP army has just been an amazing support, along with a lot of the folks in this digital asset space. And yeah, you're going to get the people out there that are going to sow FUD, try to discourage you.
Oh, yeah.
And I always say, look, don't let somebody else who's given up on their dreams talk you out of yours. Just don't let it happen.
Yeah.
Have conviction, Yeah.
My XRP is not for sale, by the way. And you're right. Brad Kimes, digital asset investor, Crypto Eddie, Alex Cobb, all these people, they're rock stars, absolute rock stars. I learned so much from them. My wife came to me and said, hey, you're looking at, because we had started some mining programs with some multi-level marketing companies. We had accumulated like 3.2 Bitcoins, and we sold at the peak of the last market.
Wow, nice.
And then I realized that my wife was right, but to shut her up, I gave her $50. I said, here, just get out of my face. Here, go buy yourself some XRP and have fun, and with that, I think she said, hey, you're not gonna, I said, by the way, how much, we were laying in bed. That's right. We're laying in bed. I said, by the way, how much did you get for your $50 in XRP? She goes, 12,500.
I know, it's mind-boggling.
Right. Today, thinking about it in retrospect, you're like, oh my God.
All these guys that poo-poo XRP, I almost
I feel sorry for them because when they understand.
They don't have oh my gosh. And especially, look, hey, You know, when I look at it like this, now I'm not saying Bitcoin's going to disappear, but I look at it this, what utility does it provide other than right now a store of value? Because when you want to see real world utility and transformative utility, I as much as people want to poo-poo on XRP, you know, there is no way you can deny what it is going to do transforming this world. And if Bitcoin ever gets dethroned, it loses its one and only utility as far as I'm concerned, and it's no longer that store of value, and it could collapse completely. XRP, on the other hand, no way. It's the infrastructure for everything.
Here's my argument with Bitcoin versus XRP. First of all, XRP, your audience, I'm sure, knows as well as our audience, is that XRP is you could build other federated side chains. You could build other tokens on it. You can build smart contracts, NFTs. It moves at the speed of light. It's already been tested in the labs to be scalable to 3.5 trillion. I didn't say B, I said T. Trillion transactions per second. It's never made a mistake. We've already moved trillions of dollars.
72 million ledgers, not one mistake.
Not one mistake. Not even for 100,000th of a penny. Ever. Right?
Ever.
So how do you compare that? Even a store of value. If you go into a court of law and you're looking at the judge, say, what does your Bitcoin do? Oh, we're a store of value. Wrong answer. Store of value is if everybody sells it tomorrow, the intrinsic value goes to zero because that's not a functionality. That's not a utility, number one.
Not a utility.
Number two, it's not a hedge against inflation because that's another bullshit story. We move money. How much does it cost to move your money? Oh, 2 Bitcoins, 6 hours, 6,000.
I was going to say,
Hello?
6 hours later. Yeah.
No,
not a chance.
You fail there too. What do you guys do? You guys are absolutely a joke, and you will go to zero. Not maybe, 100,000%. XRP.
Yeah, they lose that, I think. You know, the thing too, I had a guy leave a comment, you know how folks will leave comments, and what his comment was is, oh, well, you know, come on, XRP, that's not decent. I said, hey, hold on a second. You're saying XRP is not decentralized just because one entity holds or manages a bunch of this digital asset. Well, I said, well, you can't, if you're going to paint XRP with that brush, then you got to paint Bitcoin with that brush, because at any time that Satoshi wallet could become active and live. And not only that, you've got about 2 or 3 miners globally that control the whole market space with Bitcoin. So don't tell me that XRP is not decentralized when you can literally set up a node on your home computer. Anyone can do it. You don't need permission from Ripple, and you could have a node on the XRP ledger just like that and participate. And hey, if Ripple was to vanish, let's say it did, the XRP ledger and XRP is still going to exist.
Absolutely.
And
if it goes
Ripple
to zero,
Ripple did not earn its start its business with any kind of an ICO. They raised private equity. That's how they did it. And XRP was not part of that arrangement in the beginning. So this whole idea that, you know, it's a security is hogwash in my view anyway.
if everybody sold their Bitcoin tomorrow, Bitcoin goes to zero, never recovers. If everybody sold their XRP tomorrow, XRP does not go to zero. You know why?
It does not.
Because it's got intrinsical value. It solves problems. It moves money at the speed of light. It's never made a mistake. There was a bank about 9 months ago. Everybody was, you know, the Kabuki Theater lawsuit. We already proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that the lawsuit was settled October 1st, 2021. This is just so that they could slow things down to usher in what? Nasara Jassara. If you go to our website, QFS1776.com, you will learn everything you need to know. You'll have a black belt on Nasara, and it's all real. Now, think about this for 1 second, okay? XRP, you bring it down to zero, okay? Everybody sells, it doesn't go to zero because of its value, because of what it could do, okay? So we are going to win. Now, when Bitcoin goes to zero and XRP becomes the king of the mountain, they don't want you to pay attention to it, right? 26,000 tokens. One has got the lawsuit. That's the one you need to be paying attention to.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Simple.
Yep.
Now the reality is, when I got into this game, I had bought silver. I'm here in Costa Rica, and I had to figure out how to buy. You know, I called the silver dealer down in Escazú, and I said, "Hey, how do I bring this in?" They said, "When you get to the airport, tell them it's your token collection. Do not volunteer any other words. Token collection." and they'll let you go. I had bought 120 pounds worth of silver. I had 120 pounds in my what do you call it? Carry-on bag was completely to the gills. I thought I put it up in the overhead compartment. I thought the overhead compartment was going to come down.
No doubt.
Oh
my God.
But this thing was like a slow train to China. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They probably, hey, good thing they didn't get you on that, that where they can stop you and confiscate your stuff.
Exactly. It took a lot of balls to do that. Let me tell you. Well, I usually have bigger balls than most. But anyway, I get to the airport. Sure enough, it's my token collection. I go right through. And I'm sitting with this stuff for a couple of years, and it's like it's worth maybe 12 cents more than what I purchased it. I'm like, this is like we're going to get rich by the time I'm like 296 years old, right?
Right.
So I now come across XRP. We sell to the guy that actually told me how to bring it in for the market value of that day. He gave me cash money. We went to the bank, and the bank says, "Where did you get the money?" I says, "What business is it of yours?"
Totally. No kidding.
So we got into a heated argument after like 6 exchanges. And I said, "Listen, if Pablo Escobar came to your back door right now, you wouldn't be asking him where you got the money because you'd be in a lot of trouble, if you know what I mean, right?" So long story, we go to Banco Costa Rica. They said, "Okay, you could deposit $2,000 a month." So we did that for several months. After several months, we went, says, "Okay, now we're ready." Goes, "Ready to do what?" I said, "We want to buy some XRP, digital assets." "Oh, no, that's not allowed." We had to go crazy. So we wired the money back into Bank of America in the United States. From Bank of America, we wired the money into Lithuania to some exchange that we had no idea whether we were going to see our XRP or our money.
Scary. I know, man.
Right?
Scary. Yep.
And that's how we got started. And but we knew instinctively.
And now you're holding it on cold storage. I'm absolutely
absolutely 100,000%.
Right.
Yeah. So that's how we got started in this game. Where are you on Nisara Jisara? Are you following Nisara Jisara at all in any capacity?
I do. I'm fully aware of what it is, and I do absolutely 100% believe that's where we're going. As a day-to-day thing, I don't follow it, but I certainly believe they're going to have no other choice, Mel. There's not going to be any other choice. They have milked this current fiat system literally to the last drop of blood. And when they collapse this system, they want to come back in as the saviors and reintroduce this entire new digital system that they are building right now. The infrastructure's in place. All they truly have to do at this point is flip that switch with this whole ISO standard that's coming in. Look, it literally says that if you want to engage in this global financial system by 2025, it is mandatory that you meet these compliance standards. That right there tells you enough to know that they are going to flip a switch. If it's mandatory, then that means that eventually there's not going to be another rail. This is the rail that they want to go. Now, how it all shakes out in the end in terms of like, are we going to be dealing under this whole social credit WEF stuff? I mean, there is definitely a push and shove match going on in a big, big way between that and QFS. Now, QFS is as real can be, in my view. I mean, I can just say that there is some real confluence to show that it is there. And I can tell you right now, the banking system as we know today, it is just not going to exist.
Right.
And so
we're gonna be calling them financial service centers, and they're not gonna be able to bleed you. They're gonna have to. Here's the two major markers that are coming that nobody sees, and I think you'll agree with me. PolySign. One.
Oh, absolutely.
PolySign's
custody.
Yeah. PolySign's right. When PolySign comes, we're going to simplify the market where the average Joe can log into their account. Just like you do with your Bank of America, Chase, whatever, you're probably going to have to jump through you put in your password, your key phrases. It's probably going to ask you for your phone number. They're going to send you a text message. You have to put in your text message. You might have to do a eye retina scan to make sure.
I was going to say it could be biometric. Yeah,
it could be all kinds of things to make sure the hackers are never going to get to your money. It's going to be like Fort Knox. It's going to be like Cheyenne Mountain on steroids. Okay.
Yeah.
Where the gold that we confiscated at the Vatican is sitting, by the way, and they're still flying it in today.
Yeah. And the stuff that probably they took out of the World Trade Center before that came crashing.
There's so much wealth in the world. You have no idea.
Oh yeah.
The problem is if we were to distribute that wealth and give everybody, $100 million within 3 years, the money is going to end up back in the hands of the people who understand money.
Yep. That's the way it always has been. You take an experiment right now, you take 100 people, like I say, give them all $1,000. Literally within a year, 2% or 3% are going to hold all the money and the rest won't. Not by virtue of the 2 or 3% are necessarily evil people. But look, most of the economy just kind of goes with whatever they feel at the moment. And it takes true discipline, to be able to kind of like sever that emotional tie. And look at this from a very critical thinking way, so that you can actually benefit down the road. And it's that delayed gratification. They have convinced the whole world that they need to be gratified right now. Gone are the days when you looked at something, you made a goal, you set it as a target, you aimed for it, and you achieved it, and then you enjoyed it. No, they keep us in their debt-based system by saying, hey, look, there's commercials on there, and you literally have the commercial slogan is, I want more, and so, hey, we'll give you more, just buy it now and you'll pay later. But you're thinking, oh, no, you're paying later means they own you, literally.
Absolutely.
You're not just paying with cash. They've got you in their debt-based system, and you literally become like a slave to the whole idea.
Well, we're going to have to get rid of a lot of people, because you cannot have Nasara, Jasara coexist right aside evil. One's got to win, one's got to lose. It sounds to me like, Dave, that you have come to the same determination, even though you guys yet are not preaching on your channel. I promise you, Dave, you're going to be coming over to our side of the fence and say, you know what? I'm sorry to say, the guy with the big chair in Costa Rica was right. Nasara is the deal. And it's going to happen. Eventually, they're all going to have to capitulate, because you won't be able to make a left or a right. You won't be able to go forward or backwards. Nasara is going to be everywhere. When Trump came down the escalator, he's coming down the escalator. His wife is about 8 feet ahead of him, dressed in gorgeous white. And
she's a beautiful
woman.
And
behind him, there's a sign on the wall. This is for your audience. Do you know what that sign read on the wall when he's coming down the escalator?
I do not off the top of my head. No, sir.
Currency exchange.
Wow. That says lots.
He's dropping breadcrumbs. You got to be able to be smart enough to say, okay, Trump is sending, this is very 17-ish, if you know what I mean. The 17th letter of the alphabet.
Yes, I do, sir.
He does the speech. He does a speech, and he says, we're going to give the power back to you, the people.
We're talking Quincy Jones stuff.
Nasara. He's going to give it to you, the people, the power. Okay? I'm just telling you. He goes to, again, this is for your audience, because I'm sure some of them know who I am and some of them might not know who I am.
Sure.
Missouri, he goes to Missouri to a company that builds what? RVs. The reevaluation, the biggest transfer of wealth is upon us. And he turns around and says to his wife, honey, I think I'm going to get one of these RVs and go traveling around the country with you. Really? The guy that, does his business on a golden toilet seats that are 24 karat gold is going to buy what? An RV? I don't think so. It's another breadcrumb. It's like breadcrumb after breadcrumb after breadcrumb. People can say, oh, wait a minute. Maybe that crazy guy with the big chair down in Costa Rica might be right. That's why I built, 100,000 plus people in 11 and a half months following. I'm a pizza guy. What do I know about finances?
It's amazing what you're talking about. They have no other choice, Mel. As far as I'm concerned, they have to flip these switches, because this debt-driven system, they are driving it right into the absolute total abyss, and it's intentional. I mean, you can't say that way back there when they literally shut the entire globe down. Let's remember, they shut the entire globe down. Now, what's really wild about that is, while the entire economy and every country practically on earth has come to an absolute halt, what happens? The stock market takes off in one of the biggest bull runs that ever had. How does that make any kind of sense? And they printed money like it's just crazy.
It's going out of style.
Like it was just going out of style. And like I was saying there earlier about that whole emergency benefit in Canada. Look, 12 million people availing themselves of that, 1/3 of the entire country. That's just Canada. And Canada is not a large populated country. But you look at that, and then You know, you're telling me that all these major economists did not see what was going to happen and that we'd be facing the music like we are today? No, they did it. They did it with strategic purpose. I absolutely believe that. And I genuinely believe they're driving this economy to a total and final end in order to introduce this new system, which is literally nothing like we have ever seen. You know, I was doing an article. Now, this is something you probably saw this about the European Central Bank yesterday, how they came out with that laundry list of things that they want to attach to their CBDC, literally where they would have government approved merchants where you could spend it, how much you could hold, what, you know, on and on and on. And I'm telling you, we've got to get out there into this space and we have to make our voices known, because there is no way those that love liberty and love freedom like we love it, and I would classify myself a libertarian, we cannot be silent at this time, because it is such a crucial period in the history of the world that we've got to speak up, so that this new future that we're moving into is one that we want to live in, not one that we have to survive, but one that where we can really thrive. That's how I feel about it.
Totally, totally. Now let's talk about the potential worth. I mean, am I out of line, Dave, when I say that XRP can absolutely reach $100,000 when the boys and girls upstairs need it to be 100,000? Not because Dave and I are greedy. No. They need it because they need to move mountains, financially speaking, worldwide, going into this new world of unbanked, 1.8 billion unbanked. We're talking about India, Africa, Southeast Asia. Most of them are unbanked. Okay. Then you got the universal basic income coming. So you start to calculate all this stuff. Government to government money moving back and forth. Corporation to corporation moving back and forth.
Yes,
$100,000 XRP in a world that's graduating at a 5 quadrillion movement per year into a 10x, 50 quadrillion, and you go do the math yourself. It's pluses and minuses. Okay, very basic math. 50 quadrillion, you divide 50 quadrillion into that token that is being held by Ripple, which I believe is merged with the Treasury and the IRS and whoever's going to be left of our government, because government's going to be shrunk down by 95%. Okay, you start to do the math; it's a hell of a lot more than $100,000 per XRP, and people still have market cap is going to go away. Market cap is going to die with the old world.
Well, we won't understand it in the same capacity we do now. One of the things that I get a lot, you know, and especially, you know, when in any of us in this digital asset space, we hear a lot, people will come on and they'll say, it is impossible. Don't they understand the tokenomics and all this kind of stuff? And so I literally did a video on this whole subject and I titled it, These Tokenomics Could Make You an Absolute Fortune. Why? Because a lot of people, when they talk about tokenomics, they're talking about, you know, the max supply versus the circulating supply and all the regulations around the distribution, the burning and all this and this and this and this. But what they don't bring into effect is the world money supply. So what you were just talking about there, Mel, is the global money supply. Now, in the global money supply, one of the things that you can take a look at right now is the world debt market is somewhere in the neighborhood of $360 trillion. And they are literally looking at these digital assets. XRP Ledger is one, Hedera Hashgraph is another, to tokenize the entire global debt market. Then on top of that, you look at all of the world stock markets. So the New York Stock Exchange is valued at $28.2 trillion, which is about 32% of the global stock markets, which top out about 89.2 to $5 trillion. Well, you take a look at the current digital asset class. We'll keep the crypto market, but that's what they call it, current digital asset class. And we're somewhere just shy of that 800-900 billion. Now, ask yourself this. If you were to take all of that global debt, 360 trillion, or just the 89.5 trillion of the stock markets. And we know, look, the Depository Trust and Clearing Corp, which processes about $1 trillion worth of traditional trade volume a day. They just went tokenization blockchain with R3 Corda, and by the way, XDC as their immediate settlement for R3 Corda. Now, you think about that. That is a big tell right there, but move all that over into this space. And what is that going to do to valuations? And another thing to consider this it's not going to be divided evenly distributed amongst all these 9 or 10,000. You're lucky if there's going to be 24 left. This digital asset space is going to be literally culled, in my opinion, down to literally maybe 2 or 3 dozen different projects. And for me, when I take a look at them, look, there are some, they have utility, but it's really not that strong. There's a lot of competitors, but there are very few that fit the bill, like XRP, XLM, XDC, HBAR, Quant, various ones like that, Algorand. I mean, these are like the chosen ones practically.
Right.
And so what you're saying, if you're asking me, can it get there? Sure. I think it could potentially get there. Will it get there overnight? Probably no. Will it get there in 5, 10, maybe 15 years? I think that's a very viable possibility, because you're talking about the entire global economy. Now, a lot of people say, well, though that kind of growth is next to impossible. Well, then I challenge them with this. I've told one person that left the comment and said, go back to 1975 and take the value of the NYSE at 1975, compare it to the value today, and ask yourself this question. Do you think anybody in 1975 would believe that the New York Stock Exchange would have the value that it has today? Not on your life. Well, look, take another 15, 20 down the road. It is going to be truly something else. And we haven't even touched the surface. Now, that's how
I don't personally think it's going to take 5, 10, 15 years. And I'll tell you why. Because they need it a lot more than we want it. And when they hit the switch and they go into this new world, that's going to be a real thing. It's not, they don't have,
it's going to be real. There's no,
they don't have 5, 10, 15 years. They have now. They got to go now. When they say it's go time, right now they're running both systems parallel, because when they hit that switch, and it's probably more than one switch, it's multiple switches. There's been testing going on, folks, for 4 years. The parallels of the quantum financial system running parallel to each other has been going on for a minimum of 4 years. You know why it's been taking so long? Because this is a game that you cannot make any mistakes. You have to measure 199,000 times. And when you finally make that final cut, there's no room. You can't go back and say, oh, we want to redo it over. No,
there's no redos.
There's no redos here, right?
Yeah,
so
that's right.
Because they need it, not because of my greed or his greed or all of your greeds out there. We got some. It's part of human nature. Sure. You don't want to have the 199-foot yacht or 396-foot yacht. I'm guilty as charged. I'm guilty as charged, but I'm going to have my humanitarian projects, because we're all going to have one problem. It's called too much money that you don't know what to do with it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So, no, I get that.
Yeah.
No, and hey, a lot of people come out and they'll say, hey, look, money is evil and all this and that. Look, money is not evil. Yeah. The love of money and allowing it to corrupt your life. I mean, the whole idea of, just accumulating wealth for wealth's sake is that's not what it's about. It's truly about providing a better life in the future for the world. And that's how I view it anyway.
Yeah. Typically people that say money is not everything don't have any.
Yeah. Because I'll tell you what, poverty is a curse. It is an absolute, I've literally watched people suffer in poverty. And now we understand poverty from, a mental level, but my wife and I have gone to Rwanda 4 times. And I have been to areas of the world and I have watched the devastating effects of poverty in such a way that it literally, you almost want to open up your veins and it's crazy. And you get back and I'm telling you, the weight of knowing that. And, for me and for my wife, I mean, obviously we have already been in a position to truly, be a blessing. And one of the things that humbles us so much is this: I thank God that he would consider me worthy enough to be the answer for someone else's prayer. Truly, I do. And when we've been in that position to bless people, I've literally said, hey, don't thank me. It's not coming from me. It's only coming through me. And it's genuinely coming from God. And the Bible says that every good and perfect gift comes from the Father of heavenly lights. I genuinely, truly believe that. And the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. And it says he stored up the wealth of the wicked for the righteous. That's what the word of God says. And I believe that at the end of the day, he's going to win, man. there's no wisdom, there's no plan, there's no anything that's going to be able to succeed against the Lord. And ultimately, at the end of the day, it's going to fall. The chips are going to fall in His favor, and so I'm going to be on the winning side.
Absolutely. There's a prayer that has the lyrics in it: on earth as it is in heaven. On earth,
yes, sir.
as it isn't on earth as it is in heaven, which means we're going to build Jasara Nasara, and we're going to make heaven right here on earth, and we're going to have 1,000 years of peace. And if we could teach you guys,
the Bible teaches that.
The Constitution of America, the original Constitution that was written by our forefathers, the Bill of Rights of 1787, and you guys are armed with. Some of you are going to be able to go through my free course, which is launching in the next couple of weeks, and you're going to graduate on the other side. You're going to be an attorney without the stupid diploma of you going through a matrix school. You're going through the University of Mel now, okay? University of Life. And when you go in front of the courtroom and you know how to say a few select words, if you ever end up in court, because if you do this properly with the affidavits, you'll never end up in court. And it's free of charge. We're going to graduate the next generation of attorneys. You know why? Because, Jasara Nasara, we can't go back to watching The Price is Right and let's make a stupid effing deal.
Yeah.
You understand?
No
we stay focused on saying, why are we here? How do we never get here again? And how do we never get here again? I tell you, the most important document you're going to study going forward is I'm going to beat this drum until there's no beat, okay? You guys have to learn the Constitution of America, the original Constitution of 1787, implemented in 1789. And the course is coming, and it's coming for free at QFS1776.com. You know why? Because we're never going back to this BS that we're going through right now. We're going through a lot of CBDCs, central bank digital currency. Let's jump gears here. The bankers, the Brad Garlinghouse said this digital asset was created for the banks or the financial service centers of the future, whatever you want to call them. It doesn't matter. When he went to them and said, hey, we got this thing that's going to solve all your problems, they basically said, get lost, get out of here with that BS, right? They thought, this is a story that I believe is real. They thought that they were going to go and create their own Ripple, their own XRP. And when they realized how difficult the secret sauce recipe was, and when they realized that anybody they tried to hire, anybody who was talented was already working for who? Ripple. The talent pool went completely dry. Yeah. They went and tried to get back into Brad Garlinghouse's good graces. You know, Brad Garlinghouse looks like a non-threatening kind of guy. You give him like 8 kilos of cocaine, he'll go through the airport, dress him up like a priest, put a white collar on him.
He's a very charismatic guy and comes off very humble for sure.
And he's a gangster. He's a lion on the inside. That's what he is.
Yeah, he's got to have his senses about him for sure.
Him say, hey, don't worry about it. There's like a gangster. Hey, don't worry about it. We're going to create this thing called CBDCs for you. We're going to take care of you. The central bank digital currency, I hate to use the expression, is nothing more than a way for Brad Garlinghouse to fluff the balls of the banksters, because the central bank digital currency that belong to the countries will see the light of day. But the central bank digital currencies that belong to the banks that they want to print to infinity, and they're still at the same party where they get super mega rich, is never going to see the light of day. Why? Because when people like him who have a lot of XRP, and I got a few bags myself, okay? And we're staking that stuff, and we proof up. And because this is what's going to happen once Spark comes into town.
Right.
We show that we have the funds. Once the funds are verified, that money never leaves our wallets. It stays in our wallets, but we create what's called leverage in the marketplace. Once we create that leverage in the marketplace, he's worth, $5 billion. Do the math. How much is 1/2% interest on $5 billion? It's a lot. So he's going to have to start what? A humanitarian projects every single month. What a problem to have. What if he's only getting 1/4%? Mind blowing.
It's an unfathomable amount of wealth. Truly it is. And that's what I really try to convey heavily on my channel is, look, In fact, my last video that I did, I literally said XRP, generational wealth creation, because that's exactly what I see it as. It is beyond belief, truly, when you think about it. And I think this is where the powers that be have, there's structure, there's some level there where we at this time have this golden opportunity to be able to get in and invest in these protocols never heard of in the history of mankind. In fact, you look at when the internet came about. Now, when they were developing all of that, and they had it for a while, the US military, when it finally came out, you weren't able to invest in hypertext transfer protocol. Look, you can invest in maybe a domain name or some company or this or that, but you didn't get to actually invest in the infrastructure that was going to be the internet. Because if you could, it would have transformed your life in ways that you can't even imagine. Well, right now, we have the literal opportunity to be able to go out there, and for sub 50 cents, Mal, literally, it is going to be staggering when people, even if XRP was to hit $10, but we know it's going way beyond that. But I'm just saying, even from that perspective, that you're looking at an opportunity like this, and that you could kind of and that's why I think most folks truly don't know what they're looking at when they look at it. Yeah. And you're right. There's going to come a time you're never even going to have to sell it. You are never even going to have to sell it. And your life is going to be so transformed. Yeah. Genuinely.
Great kid. He goes on, and he doesn't do any, I don't think he's ever done any other interviews besides the CEO of VeChain.
And DAI did one.
Digital Asset did 2 interviews in his entire life.
Yeah. Yeah.
One with the CEO of
Sunny Lou.
Right. And
Sunny
one,
Lou, yeah.
Greg Kidd left a card game, a poker game. This is a billionaire who sat on the board of the Federal Reserve. This is not a regular run-of-the-mill guy. Okay. And he went and said, listen, I don't need the money. I want to work with you guys. I like what you guys are doing. I like what you guys have. Just pay me in digital assets called XRP. And he's the only guy that we know of that is the single largest privately owned 1 billion tokens.
I was going to say, yeah. He got 1 billion. He got 1% of the supply, and he was willing to be a janitor. He didn't care what. He just wanted it in the door.
This guy's sharp, boy. And he said the one thing, XRP is intergalactic money. He said it. Watch the video.
Yep.
I interview Ishmael Perez, who's not from around here. And Ishmael Perez says, Mel, this technology is about 500 million years old. It was given to us by the intergalactics. This technology, XRP, has and is being used on other planets that are still using a monetary system. Okay? I know some of you guys are saying, oh boy, that guy down in Costa Rica, they need to send a couple of guys and put a straight jacket on him and haul him away. I know, I get it. Okay. Well, let me tell you something. Truth. What do they say? Science is stranger than fiction.
Yeah, truth is stranger than fiction.
Fiction, right? I know I got that mixed around. But know what I'm talking about. The central bank digital currencies, the banks are going to that are going to survive are the ones that are going to play ball. The ones that don't want to play ball, that they think they're going to print CBDCs till the cows come home.
Yep.
I hate to tell you, you're going to see these things go away.
There's no balking this. There's no balking. There's no way out. It is. It's like, we're just getting, the hallway is just getting narrower and narrower and narrower. And there's only one way through it. And there's only one door through. And that's the way it's going to be. Now, hey, there's a lot of people out there that, are just living in fear. Now they know that. And of course, there's a lot of folks out there that are manipulating folks with all that. There's truly nothing to be genuinely afraid of, in my view, is because, look, you know your own constitution. Have your own conviction. Look, at one point in this life, I'm not going to be here, right? And the whole thing is like, why would I spend my whole life, trying to, accumulate all kinds of stuff, right? If it's just stuff I'm looking for, that I'm not going to take. There's a greater purpose at work here, is I guess what I'm saying, and that's kind of how I view this. And look, we're commissioned to occupy. As a believer in Christ, the Bible says, occupy until he comes, you know, and that's how I kind of view it. I'm not going to kind of sit on the sidelines and not and not actually be an active voice and participate in a way in which I believe is proactive and getting information out there, true information to the best of my ability, sharing it with my community and just encouraging them to, hey, don't be moved by fear. Don't allow yourself to be tossed about like that. You just can't. And so, any change is scary, Mel, as we know.
Oh,
but I
absolutely.
mean, the reality is that, look, we're all going to face that in our life at some point or
Yeah,
another, and it's going forward and facing those things. Fear isn't, courage is not the opposite of fear, right?
absolutely.
Courage is feeling the fear and doing it anyway. And, I don't know what tomorrow holds, my
Exactly.
view is, but I know who holds tomorrow. And that's where I lay my head down. I lay my head down on the fact that somebody who's watching over me is neither sleeping or slumbering. He neither slumbers or sleeps. The fact that you and I are speaking today, that was because the steps of the righteous are ordered of the Lord, not just because, Bon Crip, God used him, as far as I'm concerned, to tie us together. But that's how I kind of view life, and there's a purpose in all of that. And so for me, that's kind of how I look at this space. I think, we're moving towards this. So why not be a channel for light, a channel for sharing truth and getting that message out there, and in the best way possible. And we need folks that are willing to do that. And then, like you shared with me, when you go out and you try to be that vessel of truth or whatever, you got so many people trying to squash you down. It's like you're the crabs in the bucket. You're trying to climb out. They're like, oh, no, you don't. And they
Yeah,
try to haul you back down,
absolutely. Well, I tell you, I had a great time. I'm a firm believer of what I believe in because I live in my movie theater 17 hours a day. I'm part of that movement, if you know what I'm talking about. I just recently interviewed some people who are very close to the Trumps. Okay, and I could tell you, yes, they believe in the same thing as well. They got a website called SpiroRumble.com, SPERO Rumble.com, which is a movie that these guys make, like, 5-star award-winning documentaries, and they made one on Donald Trump, which is riveting. This is the reason why they don't want him back. I believe he's coming back. I believe he's going to come back way before 2024 because he has to. Because if we go into 2024, the United States of America and the world is not sustainable. We go into complete total communism. Then Klaus Schwab wins and Trump loses. I don't believe that that's the reason why they don't want him back is because he wants to give you life extension technology. He wants to give the power back to you, the people, Jassara Nassara. We're going to release 6,000 patents, free energy technology, life extension technology, all kinds of things that you're not going to, the people who refuse to immerse yourself in this new world that's coming, going to be confused. And I know a little bit about you guys are going to be completely lost. And I feel sorry for you because you still have an opportunity right now to get involved. It's coming. And you know what? When these people need it, like I said, because of their convenience, not our convenience, it's going to go fast. Yeah, could it take another 5, 10, 15 years because they're trillionaires controlling? Yes. But I believe the man upstairs who wanted me to have this, the story I told you.
Yes, a great story.
Yeah, it's an incredible story. I didn't want the chair. I wanted to get my old chair reupholstered.
I love that chair, man. That chair is amazing.
Wasted $200 with a guy that said, yeah, I could do it. Now I got the skeleton rotting out in my backyard. Guided me to this chair because the man upstairs chooses his people very carefully.
I agree with that.
Pansies. He doesn't want people who have a jello spine. He wants people with huevos.
Yep. It's kind of like when Noah, when people didn't know what do you mean rain? They hadn't experienced rain or anything. And because they couldn't wrap their mind around it, and they looked at him like, oh, well, you look at that idiot Noah building that ark over there. Well, when the day came, man,
boy, oh boy.
And the reality is, look, we're not always going to see it clearly, right? We're not always going to see it. Some are, right? Noah did. He saw it. He heard it. He felt, but that's what it is. We don't live by, we live by faith and not by sight. And look, I'm telling you what, one thing you're sharing that I really appreciate is this, Mel. Truth resonates. When someone's speaking the truth, it's a vibration that hits you. Your inner being knows when you've heard the truth, right? You just know it. And you may not understand why it's true,
Right.
or, but you just know that it is. Well, I'm telling you, in this space, I know that it's true. Now, I could spend all day trying to talk someone into it. And I've learned in life, hey, the more I try to talk someone into it, someone else could just come along if I could and talk them out of it.
Oh,
They've got to
absolutely.
really be able to adopt that conviction on the inside. And I to the best of our ability, and I genuinely appreciate, what you're saying there, because what you're talking about is coming out there and you have no other reason to share the truth that you have other than to give other people the opportunity to get in the boat. And I sense that's really true. And, that is, I can totally, join hands with you on that side of it for 100%, because that's the sense, that's what's motivated me and my channels to be able to share this information with folks in a way that they can receive it. And ultimately, at the end of the day, you can only, as they say, lead a horse to water, so to speak. And it's just, you can't. And what you're just providing the water. I don't see any harm in that whatsoever. That's
absolutely, sure. Absolutely. I was at the beach recently. I told you what I did with my channel. I wiped out all of my videos because they were going to come down and shut me down, etc. So I marched to a beat of a different drummer. So I'm sitting on the beach, and one of my favorite beaches here in Costa Rica. It's called Playa Langosta. If I pull up the picture, I'll share my screen with you for your audience. And this is going to blow you away. Here it is. What do you know? Here it is. Let me blow this thing up. Absolutely. And I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Okay, here we go. Let me share my screen. Bingo. Tell me if you could see that. Can you see my screen?
I can. Wow, that is crazy.
Check this out. I got the X right here, which is XRP. Look at it. It's even got the separation right there in the middle. Right?
Yeah, that is
this
insane.
Picture innocently, and I send it to my friend Kathy in Florida, who's originally from New York. She sends it back with me with this circle here, red. Look at that.
Is that not a face? That is a face as clear as day. That's a face. And that's up over in here. Yeah, that is.
I said God wanted me to have the chair because he wants me to stand out, because I have a prophetic message to deliver, and I got to get the XRP and I got to get the Jasara and Nasara to the people. And there's another face up here, and they don't know what this is, whether it's an extraterrestrial or a younger version of Donald Trump, but there's another face right here as well.
That is cool. Very neat. I love seeing stuff like that. That is truly awesome.
I mean, look, you could look at that all day long, whether you're an atheist, whether you are agnostic, it doesn't really matter. Yeah. That is what it is.
Right. A lot of people will say, hey, even the heavens declare the glory of God. A lot of people will say, oh, well, this, and this. Look, I don't believe in coincidence in that sense, because I do believe in divine appointments, though. I've seen it happen in my life. And I've seen, it's quite amazing. But that is, hey, thanks for sharing that. That is awesome.
I'm a New York, New Jersey kind of guy, if you can't tell. I was making pizzas. I don't know nothing about finances. I had no idea I was going to be doing this. If 4 or 5 years ago you would have said you're going to start a podcast, you're going to have X amount of people coming after, following you, whatever.
Yes, sir.
You're out of your mind, because I had no intent at all, zero. But here I am doing what I was called to do, and I'm having the blast.
I agree with that. 100%.
And you're having a blast out there. I see you out there walking through the woods. I picture like one of your episodes one day, you'll have these like rubber boots up to your hips over here, fly fishing, and you'll have a camera recording.
That'd be awesome, man. That'd be awesome. That would be awesome. Well, Mel, I really have enjoyed it. You've been just such a great host, and I just think you're an amazing guy. And by the way, man, that chair, I love it. It's just, you cannot miss you. That's an icon, and that's amazing. You should patent that.
Oh yeah, I know, right? But don't be copycats, and copycats is a form of flattery. I don't have a problem if you get a bigger chair than mine, believe me.
No.
Hey, let's say goodbye to the audience. I know he's going to come back because I had a blast, and I know that eventually I'm going to talk to the Breadcrumbs of the world and the Eddies and the digital asset investor, because at one point somebody's going to be right, somebody's going to be wrong, and it's not Klaus Schwab and the New World Order that wins this race. That much I can show you. If you listen this far, thank you. We'll catch you on the next one. And make sure you go follow this guy. His information is going to be right down below.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mel. Take care, guys.